Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
So, welcome back to the lecture on elements of visual design. I will just try to do the recap what we covered in the previous lecture. So, the basic elements of design are going to be: one is line, shape, color, texture and space. Okay. So, let us see what is line. Line can be horizontal, can be vertical, can be diagonal. Okay. It can be zigzag, it can be line can be curved, it can be straight, it can be diagonal. Okay. It can be dotted, So, I would remove this line and I would make it dotted. So, it can be bold and it can be fine. So, these are all different lines which are used basically to draw to basic elements of the design. So, line shows direction. What all line can show? Line can show direction, line can lead the eye, line can lead the outline of an object, line can do. Then it can divide the surrounding, or I will put it in a better word called space, and then it can also communicate both feelings and texture. Okay. So, when we talk about shape, the shapes are basically extension of these lines. So, shapes are made by joining lines, arcs, okay, to form 3D object or 3D shape, okay, 3D objects. So, the 3D objects or 2D extended to 3D can be 2D to 3D can be, one is it can be circle, it can be square, it can be triangle, it can be, or it can also be any free form surface. Whatever you create in 2D can be extended to 3D to identify a shape, right. The next one is going to be color. The color, we have discussed about hue, we have discussed about value, and we have discussed about intensity, right. In hue, we write about the primary color, and in the value what we do is we try to say whether it is light or dark, and in the intensity we try to talk about brightness or dullness. This is what we talk about in the color. So, we choose colors and then we try to do that. Okay. Next one is texture, which gives you quality of the surface, it talks about surface quality. It gives a feeling for touch and for see. Okay. So, then the final thing is going to be a space, which talks about the area of a shape or form which can occupy positive and negative, okay, which occupies a shape, and the shape can be positive, it is positive, or it can be negative. Okay. So, positive space means the design is the filling space which are often made up the design. Okay. Negative shape is the, what is negative shape? Negative shape is nothing but the background. The background itself. The negative shape is designed. So, negative or positive, it is very important, because here what we try to talk about is, we try to talk about the object and its surrounding, we talk about that. So, these are the basic element features which we saw, and then on top of it we have the guidelines. The guidelines for design, principles of design, or I will write it as principles for design. So, there is they are rhythm, proportion, emphasis, balance and unity. Okay. So, rhythm is, it allows the eye to move from one part of your design to another part. For example, suppose let us assume you are watching a game, a video game or something like that. If you see a coin which is getting moved, or maybe a soldier who is walking ahead, so you will always look back for his counter. So, what is that? If you see one thing in the same figure, we look for what will be the next scene, or what will be the negative of it, or what will be next following. So, our eye need not go step by step sequentially, it can go randomly within a given screen. Or when you look at an object, you look at one particular thing, and the next thing is your eye starts searching for a counter of it in the next place, wherever it is there, inside a room or in the surrounding. Okay. So, that is rhythm. Rhythm is not only for music, it is also there for design. So, rhythm can rhythm can be created by one, using same color, shape, texture, etc. In a design. Okay. So, that is that's how you create a rhythm. Next, you can change color or size of an object sequentially. So, that means to say along one particular direction you can keep extending. For example, you see water droplet coming. So, something like that. So, it is sequentially expanding. You can also have color, also I have read size and color, and you can also shift from one hue to another in the neighborhood. So, this is how you try to create rhythm. When we talk about proportions, proportions refer to the relationship between one part of your design to another part. So, for example, if you have a wall hanging article, so this you have this, and maybe there are a lot of pockets in between, and then you have lot of colors in between. So, these are referred as relationship between this color or this spot with respect to the entire thing. So, this is what is called as proportion. Proportion refers to the relationship between one part in the drawing of a design to the other part of the same design. It should not be with the next one. Next one is emphasis. Emphasis means it is nothing but a point of interest. Emphasis is the quality of the drawing where attention is brought. So, you are trying to push and force the customer to look at a particular drawing because it has something peculiar. So, you are trying to emphasize, maybe an abstract, you are trying to emphasize. So, this can be created by color, by lines, shapes, etc. It can be created. Next one is balancing. So, here balancing is nothing but you are looking for symmetrical, okay, you are looking for symmetrical, you are looking for asymmetrical, you are looking for asymmetrical. So, these things are there as balancing. So, when you try to draw a human, when you try to draw a face, you are supposed to have balance. Okay. You can always draw a eye like this, and then have a nose, mouth. So, it looks like a skewed one. So, symmetry and asymmetry, balance is created in the drawing such that it will try to attract the customer to look at it. Unity is nothing but the line and shapes are repeated and we use the same style and color all along the drawing. So, that is unity. Okay. So, we have seen the guidelines for what are the basic elements for design, we have seen the guidelines for design. So, let us keep moving. So, now let us we discussed about color in a length. So, in color generally we use these three terminologies. One is tint. Tint is the given hue that adds white to it. When white background is added, they call it as tint. When they add black to it, it is called as tone, and shape is a given hue with added complement is called as a shape. Okay. So, these are the common terminologies which are used in color. Tint with white, adding white color to the same patch whatever you have, then tone adding black color, this is the black color you add, and shape is a given hue with added complements to it. The colors, the representation using color. Cool color means we generally use cool color wherein which the colors used are blue, green and then silver, turquoise are the three calm colors which are generally used. If you see a background where there is a lot of snowing, if you have a snow field, then we always use white. We use white in the sense silver, and then we look for green and other things. These are called as cool colors. Warm color meaning red, pink, yellow, gold and orange color are warm colors. If somebody uses orange color, see if you see sun and if you give us a color of orange to the sun, so that means to say it is evening sun. Okay. So, looking at the sun itself, you will understand it is warm, not hot. So, if you want to have a mixed color, warm color meaning you will use purple, lavender, green and turquoise. Okay. And if you want to use neutral colors are brown, ivory, beige, grey, black and white are called as neutral colors. So, now looking at the situation, you can choose the color and these colors will try to convey to the customer without speaking. So, choosing color for the required spot or the situation is also very important. So, when we talk about colors, the important thing is the color wheel. So, in color wheel if you see, these are the primary colors, primary, and the next one will be a tertiary color, then you will have a secondary color, you will have a tertiary color, then it will be tertiary, secondary, tertiary, then it will be a primary, then it will be tertiary, secondary, tertiary and then. So, these are primary colors are PPP and then these are the secondary colors you have, secondary colors. You can see these are secondary colors and then you have these are complementary colors. So, opposite these are complementary colors and you can have contrasting colors and similar colors. So, a color wheel is created and you have to look at the choices from the primary wheel, take the color to the required drawing whatever you have and then start deciding. When we talk about shapes, there are several shapes. So, one is called as geometric shape. Geometric shape are basically made for engineers requirements, so that we can easily manufacture. So, when we talk about design for manufacturing, the manufacturing is kept as a primary and then you work back to do a design of a product. So, geometric means it represents a shape of a product made from a typical geometrical shape such as triangle, square and circular. Majority of them we are trying to make in geometric fashion because our manufacturing processes works very easily for these geometric features. So, for example, you can have a circle, you can have a square, you can have a rectangle, you can have an ellipse. So, it is plus, you can subtract it, you can have triangle and triangle subtraction, you can also have. So, geometric shapes are one. The next one is natural shape. If you would go back and see, we talked about fractal design. So, this fractal shape is basically the natural shape. So, the shapes available in the natural shape and are used to make the product. It is emotionally active, it is enthusiastically dynamic and it is spatially dead. So, this one is spatially active. So, and the next one is abstract. Abstract is an indication or abstract shape showing the product characteristics like logo, cartoon, etc., indicators and symbols. Abstract shapes are generally used for saying male, female, he, she, bird. You can see a rocket going or a plane going, right. So, or there is a mobile phone which has a cross which says no, do not use a mobile phone, or there is no free left. So, these are all logos, these are abstract. So, these are different shapes which can be thought of. The shape forms are aspects, the aspect of perception. You can have vertical or horizontal lines or standard angles we can use, or Gestlate, or this is German philosophy. So, gave a basic principle of form or shape. So, read Gestlate logics, then you can have positive or negative shape, which is theory of perception. Positive or negative shape means one above each other or one is negative. So, something like a depth feature or a positive feature. So, that is what are the various shape forms which we try to follow when we try to do basics of L design. Size, you can have increasing size, you can have loftiness beyond human measurement. Then feeling of speciality and dominance. Relative can be obtained by color and contrast. You can bring in the depth of a figure or a photo. So, relative can be obtained by color and contrast with the background, you can get it done. Loftiness is beyond the human measurements. So, you can see. So, these are the size features which play a very important role while designing, and creation of illusion, feeling, or illusion is something like a feeling, right? Yeah, produce a feeling of depth, right? Feeling of strength and weight. For example, if you put a red color thing or a green color thing, you say, oh, it is more stronger, something like that. Feeling of power. Power means it is red in color. So, all these things are illusions which are brought in because of only the proper choice of color. So, mass is the aspect of perception. Mass is implied rather than actual, right? Mass is implied rather than actual. So, if you give a color, then it looks like, oh, this is heavier, this is heavy, and this is light in weight. Okay. So, this looks to be heavy, this looks to be light sitting on it. Okay. So, mass is implied rather than actual. So, you can always counter argue, I thought light is the white is heavy, that is okay, but when you look at the contrast figures, the background whatever is there, then just by looking at the figure you will understand it is a heavy object or a light object. The size implies normal weight. Each piece has got its own weight and their individual weights in the total component. So, individual weight in the total component. To accommodate normal size restraints or expectation, to convey a mood or a positive emphasis, or to create a contrast. So, all these things are mass which is thought of and added to the figure when the design is made. The change determines the way how the form, shape, size or mass are changing within the product, right. So, how was it and how did it get changed from time to time? The changes can be actual, as in the case of graphics, etc., or it can be virtual like a cartoon illustration, etc. So, you can draw something and you can keep on be changing. So, a square, okay. So, this is now changed okay. So, it was rough, it is now added more smoothness to it, it has brought in, right, some change in radius and other thing, filleting, all these things have been added so that it looks like more lucrative. So, these are changes which happens when the design is evolved. So, an organization, a surface, a detail, and then a graphics, whatever it is. So, all these things are changes which are done for the same thing. The principle of tempo or rhythm guides the use of change. The change can be in terms of shape or form, size or color or value. So, we have seen enough of elements of design and then principles of design. Now, what I would request all the students is a small assignment. The happy news is you do not have to submit it, we will not evaluate it. I want you to develop a small pencil box, okay, pencil box which is 3-dimensional, okay, and try to bring all concepts of design elements and use principles of design. You have to do line, shape, color, texture, okay, and form. Fine. Next, you will try to develop a abstract figure by cutting color sheets of various shapes and size right, size. So, you will choose a beautiful lady, okay, from a cartoon or where in which I have a sketch alone, outline alone, where outline is given. Okay, you will pick a cartoon where it is outline given. Cartoon means outline given, and then it has to be a beautiful lady. From the cartoon you have to choose. Then you will have to try to take different color papers, cut it into shapes whatever you want, and start sticking on top of it, and try to bring in your feeling to the figure. So, please try to do these exercises. When you finish these two exercises, you will start appreciating the importance of color, shape and texture while designing a product. Thank you very much.